Hey everybody, this is Coach Dan. Congratulations Mud Dogs on a very hard-fought victory on Tuesday night. Hopefully everybody's excited and ready to play on Thursday evening. Parents, thanks for your support all season long. What we want to do is go over a couple of plays to break the full court pressure. If you guys remember when we played the light blue team a couple weeks ago, they run a full court press the entire game. Okay, and it gave us a lot of fits. We had a lot of turnovers. So we want to go over a couple strategic ways to break that press. Okay, Mud Dogs, let's first take a look at this slide here so you can understand what it is that you're looking at. Obviously, you're looking at half the basketball court here. You can see on the bottom left of the screen, we are going to the left, meaning we are taking the ball out of bounds as if maybe they had just scored, and we are underneath their basket. You can see which side of the court the fans are on and which side the bench is on, so we understand where we need to line up. Now, as we look at where we are standing, first of all, our team is going to be these black rectangles. Everyone's initial is inside of those rectangles. So as we look at this, Gabe in the first quarter, Rennell in the second quarter are going to line up at the top. Below them at the free throw line is Lucas and Malachi. On the other side of the free throw line is Chris and Ben. And at the very bottom is Michael and Elijah. Throwing the ball in on this play is going to be Dylan and Caden. Okay, I know there's two M's on the board there, but Malachi and Michael, I'm going to trust that you guys are smart enough fellas that you can keep it separate so you know exactly where you're supposed to line up. Now guys, what's real important about this play is we got to get it set up really quick, right away. As soon as the ref signals either that it's our ball or they make a basket, we got to jump right to these spots without hesitation. So we have to know where to go. Here's a look at what it might look like if their defenders are out there. They're going to send one guy back, kind of like we do, all the way at the other end of the court. But most of the time, they have four guys up there playing defense. They don't necessarily stand in any particular pattern or order, so it might not look exactly like you see it here. But just know that there's likely to be four defenders there. Now, as we begin to take a look at which direction we all move, we'll start at the top again with Gabe and Rennell. You're going to take maybe 3 or 4 steps toward the half-court line, fake out the defender, and then come right back toward the baseline, as you can see with that green arrow. Lucas and Malachi, you're going to come across the middle of the free throw line pretending to be setting a pick. And then, as we're about to talk about, once Michael and Elijah run past you, you're going to take off for half-court. Chris and Ben, you're going to take 1 step toward Elijah and stop. And then Michael and Elijah, you are going to run directly off of Chris and Ben's shoulder and loop toward the basket. Dylan and Caden, you're inbounding the ball. So now, Dylan and Caden, you have 2 options after everyone has made their move. You can get the ball in to Michael or Elijah, or we can try to throw, like a football quarterback, the ball to Lucas or Malachi, who should be running free, if you can get it to them. So let's say that Dylan or Caden was able to throw the ball over the top to Lucas or Malachi. And with as fast as Malachi is, this should be a pretty good option. Once Lucas and Malachi get the ball, their goal is to run down and try to get a layup. Everyone else, as you can see by the green arrows, should be following behind them and running down the court for either a pass or to get their rebound. But maybe Lucas or Malachi wasn't open, or for whatever reason Dylan or Caden didn't feel comfortable getting them the ball. Instead, this time, they make a quick pass to Michael or Elijah. Everyone can see by the green arrows here which direction you move. Gabe, Rennell, Chris, and Ben, as soon as that ball comes in bounds, you guys take off down the court because we're going to start running here in just a minute, and there's a good chance you could be open for a layup. Lucas and Malachi, since you didn't get the ball over the top, you're now going to come back and position yourself somewhere between the three-point line and half court. You want to be our guy in the center of the court. Dylan and Caden, immediately after you pass the ball in, you pick a side and run to it. It doesn't necessarily have to be the side that your green arrow is going to, but you want to position yourself somewhere back there, probably about 15 feet away from Michael or Elijah. At this point, Michael and Elijah can pass to either Lucas or Malachi, who is hopefully still open, which would be best because, as we know, when we play against the press, we want to keep the ball in the middle of the court. If he can't get it there, he's going to pass it over to Dylan or Caden. And then Michael or Elijah is going to take off running in front of whichever person they pass the ball to, as you can see by that green arrow. So now at this point in our press break, the play is exactly the same. Whether Lucas and Malachi have the ball or whether Dylan and Caden got the ball, Michael and Elijah are sprinting between the two of you, and you guys are passing it right back to them almost immediately after you get it. Michael and Elijah are now running full speed with the basketball. We've already got Chris or Ben or Gabe and Rennell down at that end of the court, ready for a pass or ready for a layup. So now here we are back at the beginning, but can you tell that something has switched? We've changed who's inbounding the ball. So on this play, we have Michael or Elijah throwing the ball in, and then we've put Dylan and Caden down there at the bottom, as you can see. Everyone else, your movements are exactly the same. This time, Dylan and Caden are going to be the ones coming off the screen and coming towards the basket. In this play, we really want our best and only option to be to get the ball to Dylan or Caden right in front of the inbounder, as you can see. As soon as Michael and Elijah make that pass, they're coming onto the court and they should be running full speed. So once again, after the ball is inbounded, Gabe and Rennell and Chris and Ben are sprinting down the court and should be ready for a pass or a layup. Lucas and Malachi are going to hang out around half court. Dylan and Caden should get the ball back immediately to Michael or Elijah at full speed, and then it's just a sprint to beat the press. Alright guys, here's one last look at our setup. Remember, it's really important that as soon as we find out it's our ball, or after the blue team makes a basket, we've got to get to these spots immediately because they're going to be ready to press. Please, please, please let me or Coach Gary know if you have any questions. Otherwise, we'll see everyone at 7:15, and hopefully you guys come ready to play and play hard. We'll see you soon.